Hi, I'm Scott from Muscle Activation in San Jose. I'm a local kinesiotherapist and I specialize in helping people that have chronic joint issues or body back issues. In order for something to become considered chronic, it has to be something that someone's been dealing with for 6 weeks or longer. So if it's been a couple of months to years, that's what I specialize in helping provide some relief. Anyway, today's episode, we're going to talk about a very common issue, pain in the butt cheek, or in other words, sciatic pain. Now, this is something I've seen a lot of here in the Bay Area, and I have seen a lot of success helping people get some relief from this condition. So today's episode, we're going to talk about the different ways and how this has happened, the sciatic pain is caused, but then we're also going to go over a very specific treatment plan to help people find relief. So without further ado, let's get to the body.
Okay, so here we are at the human body, and we're looking at all the nerves of the body, okay, the pelvic, the shoulder, the spine, all these different nerves. Now, the sciatic nerve is this one right here. Boom. That's the sciatic common peroneal nerve, all right? Look how big and thick that is, all right? And see how it runs from up here in kind of like the trunk and spine area all the way through the pelvis, and then if the leg would continue, it would run down the leg. That's how come sometimes people have sciatic pain that comes from their lower back area down through their butt cheek, because this is where your glute muscle is, and then it can possibly run down your leg. Now you have this on both sides, okay? It's most commonly on your dominant side, but you have it on both sides. And this is your sciatic nerve. Now, in order to treat this, we can go over some very specific stretches, mobility stuff that's specifically going to be with the trunk and spine, since that's where it's kind of radiating from. If you can zoom in, let's take a look at this. You can see it kind of ties in right up into the core muscles, and you see how it comes in and it ties into this nerve, the lumbar nerve, sacral nerve, okay, and it comes up and it ties into, looks like L4, L5, all right? Oops. There. So whenever a person has sciatic issues, the most common cause is usually in the trunk and spine. The next common cause of having, zoom out, some sciatic issues is compression here in the glute, where it pinches in through here. And then another common area is compression in through the leg, okay? So it's very common among women. Usually if it's an issue with men, it usually has something to do with some type of spinal injury that's happened, but it's common in everyone. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to have an injury to have this problem. That's just one of the more common causes. And unfortunately, there's not a guaranteed treatment of success. People have tried surgery, people have tried physical therapy. Fortunately, when I deal with sciatic issues, I'm having over a 90% success rate. Every once in a while, someone needs a little bit of surgery just to finish off what it's been done. But over 90% of my cases get relief without any kind of surgery. So before we go into a general plan, I want to show you my website where I am offering, here's my website, and if you scroll down and you want to start the program, click purchase, and for $50 a month, I will remotely assess you and then create a exercise and mobility prescription for you to be able to follow. Now, doing this is really the best way, the fastest way to getting any kind of like sciatic pain relief, butt cheek pain relief, or any other chronic body issues, okay? That way, because this is going to be a general plan. It's going to be very good. It's going to be very helpful, and I'm going to show you everything you need to do to start the healing process. But if you want the fastest way to success, signing up for this service is the best way to go for it. Okay. And without further ado, let's get into what's actually going to help experience some relief. Okay, so here we have 8 different exercises, mobility exercises, strengthening exercises, and this is just the phase 1, okay? This is phase 1, the beginning. This is going to be something you need to do for at least 1 month. And if you can see here over to the right, frequency, daily, okay? Every day, every single one of these is something that needs to be performed daily, okay? Now, only this very first one am I asking you guys to take a little bit of a break in these first group here. There's gonna be some more when it comes to some mobility, fascia work, and things like that, and stretching to take some time for relief. These ones that have 0 resting time, you wanna just take enough time to kind of like let the body rest and settle. Sometimes that can take couple of seconds. Sometimes it can take a whole minute. I mean, it just depends on the individual. Okay, so let's get into these exercises. Cat camel or cat cow or whatever one you wanted to start with. Okay, so the starting position, you're going to be on your hands and knees, and ideally you're going to want to have your knees right underneath your hips. Okay, and then your hands right underneath your shoulders. Now, if this is too difficult for your wrist, you can try being on your fists, or you can try having like dumbbells in your hands, or something that kind of like puts your wrist in a more neutral position. You could also be on your elbows instead. It makes it a little bit more difficult, but you'd want to have your arms up higher. So like putting on books or a bench or something where you can have your body in this, if it's like a neutral position, it's straight, kind of like right through here, okay? So now, beginning with the hands and knees on the floor, hips should be above the knees, like we talked about, attaining a straight spine posture, okay? You then round your back upward, okay, pushing your butt back upward. And when you're doing this, you want to think about contracting these abdominal muscles doing it, okay? Don't want to think about just pushing your back up. You got to do it with real intent, okay? So rounding your back upward by squeezing the abdominal muscles. Come on. Stretching out the mid-back between the shoulder blades. And then afterwards, relaxing your stomach to fall downwards, okay? So on the way up, you're squeezing the abdominal muscles, pushing it up in the air, and then to relax, you let go of the abdominal muscles and the body falls, okay? Now here it shows you hold each position for at least 3 to 5 seconds. You can do it a little longer. Truth be told, about 5-6 seconds, that's going to be the maximal potential for a repetition, okay, when you're doing these exercises. Just simple, easy, 3 to 5 second hold. Once you get to the very top, okay, then letting go to come all the way down to the bottom. All right, let's see the video and see how it looks. Squeezing the core, pulling the abs in, focusing on the abdominal muscles, lifting the spine up, then relaxing it and letting it drop. Notice that the neck is moving with the spine, okay? Now, this is a normal thing. This is normal what happens. It's this thing called brother-Levitt relationship. When the back arches here, the neck arches back with it, okay? The lower back and the neck mimic the same movement. That's how our body moves and stays balanced, okay? So if this causes a problem right here with your neck and shoulders, then that's just something else that we need to address, and we need to talk about that, okay? All right, let's go back and look at exercise number 2, Piriformis Stretch, okay? Here you want to be laying on your back comfortably in a neutral position. If you need a pillow or some kind of neck rest or something, that's totally fine. If you need something underneath your back because your back arches and it's uncomfortable, that's totally fine. Now what you're going to do is you're going to just simply cross your leg over, okay? Now you don't have to have your foot as close as it is here, okay? This might be already really difficult of a position for you to get into depending upon how your body's performing and feeling. So you can scoot that foot further out and still have your ankle across that opposing knee, okay? And you're gonna want, just to be clear, you wanna do this on both sides, okay? Now, if it turns out that this is a stretchy feeling for you getting into as a starting position, and this position is like impossible, this is the position that we're gonna wanna eventually get to, okay? But first, you might have your foot further out, knee cross, and then all you're going to do is just slide that foot in towards your body until you start feeling a gentle stretching in your hip glute area, okay? So begin lying on your back, Crossing one leg over the other, placing ankle on the opposite thigh above knee. Then, if you can do this, if your body is mobile enough to do this, grasp the uncrossed leg under the thigh and gently pull towards the chest, okay? Gently pull, that's the key here. Gently, all right? This isn't an extreme stretch, okay? It should be gentle, nice and easy, okay? The stretch in hip of crossed leg should be felt 20 to 30 seconds and repeat for prescribed repetitions. Again, we're only doing like one of these, so nice and easy, okay? All right, let's look at supine low back twist. All right. So with this one, it's, again, very gentle motion. All right, very gentle. Now, it doesn't say so in the instructions, but this is what I want you to do. I want you to think about these core muscles, these oblique abdominal muscles, okay, or like right here on the side, right here on the side. It might come through the, you know, they attach actually all the way to your belly button, okay, these oblique muscles and everything. So you can feel it all the way through here, all the way back around. And they do kind of also attach to the back of the spine. But what you want to think about doing, notice how the knees are together, feet are together as long as it's comfortable. You don't want any kind of stress. And again, being a comfortable laying down in your back position. Now, with this exercise, this can be kind of difficult. This is very easy to cheat and use your hips, which could potentially contribute more to your problem, right? Because if you remember in the 3D image that we showed you, the sciatic nerve runs through that same pocket area where the glute is and everything. So the hip muscles, and that also includes your glute. So if you're using these, you can be causing more problems compressing that nerve some more, okay? But this is the best way to actually start strengthening the core muscles that will provide decompression in your spine, which is what ultimately is going to help relieve that sciatic nerve, okay? So you really want to focus on these oblique muscles here on both sides, right? Working to rotate your pelvis over and feeling a very, very gentle stretch in your back. Very gentle. You might not feel anything at all back there, okay? But as long as you're not feeling your hips doing a lot of the work or your groin muscles doing a lot of the work, your thigh muscles doing a lot of the work, you want to think about your ribs twisting around, twisting and rotating your pelvis over, okay? Let's watch that video. So again, comfortably lying and then twisting with that core, okay? See how the rib cage is staying there, but all the muscles that attach to the rib cage is twisting over. And just holding it for 20 to 30 seconds. Don't just relax. You want to really focus on strengthening the core muscles as you're going into these positions and making sure that you're holding these core muscles as you're getting all the way to the very end of your range, okay? Let's go back. Exercise number 4. Pelvic rocking. Okay, so this is very similar to the last one we did the time before, getting into this kind of position, but it will be way less stressful on your hips and your knees and back and everything because we're not crossing the leg over, okay? So starting position is just laying on your back and then just very gently. You might need to do one leg at a time, okay? Do the best you can, but nice and gentle. You might need to crunch up a little bit. That's fine, okay? Whatever it takes in order for you to, with as little pain as possible, get into this position, okay? Maybe a pillow behind the head. You might even need to be doing this like in bed with a little bit of a angle on your upper body, okay? That's totally fine, all right? So laying down on your back, bring your feet up off the floor, grabbing a hold with your knees, the back of the thighs here, okay? And then very gently pull the knees towards your chest, only 2 or 3 inches, okay? Now, when you're doing this, don't think about, you want to think about these abdominal muscles, okay? These abdominal muscles pulling towards your chest, all right? Now, these hip flexors, okay, they cross from the abdominal, your psoas major attaches to your lumbar and thoracic spine, and then it goes and attaches into the groin area. Okay, so they're going to be involved with helping bringing your leg up and pulling into that position. Okay, and it's important to get that stronger. But you want to really think about these abdominal muscles rotating your pelvis, and you want to think of your legs being more of a lever that your pelvis is rotating towards you, feeling those abdominal muscles strengthening. Again, the best way to get full final relief from this sciatic issue is stabilizing the spine, causing decompression of the spine so there's less pressure being put onto the nerves. Okay, let's watch the video, see how that's done. Nice and gentle. Now those arms are just pulling, very gentle, nice and easy. It's mostly abdominal focus, okay? Squeezing the abs, kind of like in crunches and everything, but a little bit more control than just repeating it back and forth. Now, you don't have to go as fast as this person's showing you. Nice and easy. In the very beginning, it's very common to go very, very slow, okay? Like she's experienced, she knows what she's doing. She's doing it perfectly, but you want to go into a tempo where you can feel complete control of those abdominal muscles. Don't think that you have to rush this through. Okay? All right. Let's go to the next one. All right. So everyone's favorite thing to do, from my experience, is sitting on a tennis ball. Okay? So with this one, you're going to want to find in that glute region. Okay? Remember that pocket that we showed with the butt and everything, where there was all that meat and everything? So this is a way to help with the decompression on the muscle on this part of the body, right? So this will help get an over-contracting muscle to stop contracting as much. But it's important that you have to strengthen the weaker muscles, these core muscles that we were kind of talking about and going after, to provide good enough support so that when you create this relief, it stays relieved, okay? If all you do is focus on getting the tension out of muscles that are staying chronically tight and compressing the nerve, and you're not strengthening the muscles that's going to give it proper support, well, then it's just going to keep tightening up, and it's not going to fix anything, okay? So it's really important that you do the strengthening of the core muscles and everything to help provide relief, all right? So basically all you're doing is using like a tennis ball, a yoga ball, whatever, a lacrosse ball. You know, those are really hard though. Any kind of thing that you can use to get in there. And then you want to just angle your body slightly to the side just to feel the ball get into the tight muscle area, okay? Let's watch the video, see how that's done. Get in a comfortable position, yeah. And then finding that spot and then just nice and gentle rolling it out. See how she found the location, that's the spot, and then she's bringing her leg out, trying to provide some relief in that glute piriformis area. Okay? So now let's go back. The quad, okay? Stretching out the quad is really important when it comes to relieving sciatic pain issues, because the rectus femoris, which is this front quad muscle, the very front and center, the most important vital muscle when it comes to your quads, it attaches in the front of your pelvic region and crosses the hip joint, okay? And it has the ability to act as a hip flexor, all right? But it doesn't attach to the spine, and so it won't help stabilize the spinal, the spine and decompress the spine, okay? It'll actually contribute to compressing the spine, all right? Because it'll be pulling and acting for the hip flexors, but doing a really, really bad job of doing it and having no stabilizing of the spine whatsoever, okay? So it's really important that you kind of get some relief on this quad, right? So very easy. Standing, grabbing hold of a chair or a wall, anything that you need to give you some support, some balance. A tendency when you go to one leg is for your body to shift to one side so that this leg that's on the ground then becomes in the middle of your body. That can put some extra stress on your foot, your ankle, your knee, possibly even your hip on the good leg. So you want to have something that you can balance on, that you can keep your body kind of like straight, where you don't shift your hip out to the side to get into that centered position, okay? Just a little side note on that one. And then ideally, you're going to want to try to bend that knee and use your hamstring and your glute to bring the leg up. Now, a common compensation to try to help out is by extending your back, flexing your low back muscles, because that will help also tilt and rotate your pelvis to bring your leg up higher. But that could potentially cause some more issues and everything. So really focus on trying to squeeze your hamstring and your glute to cause your knee to bend and come up. And if it turns out you can't get up that high, then that's fine. I mean, that's just what you have to do. Be careful not to squeeze so hard where you cramp up or anything. Don't want to do that. You can very easily, without even getting to this position to stretch out the quad, you can actually get to this position and feel the quad muscles and even this hip flexor area lengthening and stretching. That's what's important, is feeling this area lengthening and stretching as you're trying to bend this knee. Okay, what you don't want is the knee to go forward, okay, and the hip to kick back. That means you're not really stretching your quad, you're actually using your quad to try to bring it up, okay? So it's more important for you not to be able to get it all the way up there and feeling the hamstring and glute do the work to pull. And then if you're fortunate enough to be able to feel this lengthening and stretch, you need to consciously think about it. You want to think about the muscles in the quad just lengthening. It's like you're trying to push that knee away from your hip, your body, down towards the floor as the leg comes up, okay? But if you can't get it all the way up here, then you want to make sure that glute is engaged, not crushing, okay? Not crushing anything or anything like that. Again, the sciatic nerve can get compressed and everything, but just so it's tight, so you're not using that low back or anything, okay? Let's watch a video to see how it's done. Holding, keeping the knee in, trying to keep your whole body in line, and just feeling that quad stretching, okay? Again, think about trying to engage the hamstring, engage the glute, just engage, not crush, nice and gentle. All right. The standing low back extension. Okay, so this is a little deceiving of a title. Okay, low back extension. Okay, this is an extension, and your low back does arch and everything, but you want it to be coming more from where this hand position is. Okay, so your feet are going to be hip width apart, not shoulder width apart. That's like how when you do squats, so a little bit more narrow. So hip width apart. And you're going to try to place your hands comfortably right here on this bony piece right here that's at the bottom of your spine. So this is your lumbar spine right through here. And then right underneath there, there's this thing called the sacrum. Okay, this little structure here. And then underneath is the coccyx or the tailbone. Okay, placing your hands right on that sacrum. And then what you're going to do is you're going to lean back while pushing that sacrum forward, okay? And holding that for a few seconds. You might feel the hip flexor stretching. You might even feel the quad stretching. Feel the abdominal muscles engaging. That's going to be a really good thing. This is like a yoga cobra, okay? There's another way of doing this with being on your stomach on the floor. Let's watch a video to see how this is done. Okay, very gentle. Hands are back. And pushing. You see that? The sacrum is being pushed forward. If you're feeling a lot of tension in your low back, you're doing it wrong, okay? It needs to feel more like a little bit more tension where the hands are, and then feeling the abdominal muscles contracting, okay? That's where you should really be focusing on. Feeling the abdominal muscles contracting, pulling through here. If you're feeling a lot of tightness and compression in the low back, that is not right. Don't stop doing it. You're doing something wrong. You need some extra help, okay? All right. And then finally, something that you should do for the rest of your life, okay? Proper sitting posture, okay? So this is our ideal sitting posture, right? Now, this doesn't mean that you want to be in a position where you're forcing your body to have to sit a certain way, okay? What's important here is that you see the center of the side of your knee is below where your hip joint is, okay, right here. Just a slight angle down, a few degrees, okay? Then ideally having your feet, your ankles somewhere underneath to a little further back, okay? That's ideal situation if your body's functioning perfectly. If it's not, then there's a chance that you're gonna need to have your feet a little bit more forward, but that just depends on your specific body alignment. Now, ideally, the top of your shoulders, this is where your acromion is. It's part of your shoulder blade. It's this bony spot right here. Okay, that center piece right here, where your acromion and your your collarbone, your clavicle, kind of attached to, needs to be right over your hip here. And then ideally, your ear is right over that position. Okay. The important thing is trying to be in a seated position where you don't feel stress in your body, okay? If you're feeling stress in your body anywhere, you're in a bad position, okay? Now, in the very beginning, since we're having these issues, there's a high probability you're not going to be able to get in this perfect position without feeling some type of tension or anything, okay? So you want to try to mimic this as best as you can, but adjust the angles ever so slightly so that there's no stress in your body, okay? A comfortable sitting position means that there's no stress, all right? Good posture doesn't mean that you're flexing your back and your shoulder blades back as much as you can to keep a good posture. That's just going to lead to overusing those muscles, causing a different chronic condition, okay? The whole point is to get away from these chronic conditions, okay? So getting to what your body's neutral position, that's what is most important for this one, okay? Now, the reality is we all have these bad habits. We tend to lean to a side, we kick here, we do this, we cross a leg, we do those kind of things, okay? And we don't want to do that. Okay, you want to try to stay symmetrical, so same positions on both sides all the time, all right? Now, because this is a new habit that we're trying to shape and form, that means that you're going to go back to that normal sitting position, whether it's crossing your legs, leaning to the side, whatever it is, okay? As long as you're being consciously aware of what you're trying to do whenever you're sitting down, and when you catch yourself doing it, as long as the time that you've been doing that hasn't been like 20, 30 minutes, you're going to be okay, okay? Unless you're doing 20, 30 minutes like every hour, okay? Then that's not okay, all right? But you're going to want to try to minimize that habit. You'll get in that position and go, oh, no, I'm not supposed to do that, and get back into a good symmetrical position, okay? Now, this symmetrical position shouldn't be painful or uncomfortable, okay? Your habit is going to be the tendency to go to that side. And the reason is because that is a stronger position for your body. Whatever position that you sleep in, when you wake up and you're sleeping, your body goes into that position because it's the strongest position for your body. That's how come you're supposed to sleep on your back flat, because standing is supposed to be your strongest neutral position. But unfortunately, because of how life beats us up and how we do things, it's not the case, all right? So you want to try to be in a symmetrical position, even if that means you have to have all this extra support. You can't be up straight or anything. You have to be leaning back, and just you get the best position that's symmetrical that is going to start to mimic this, okay? And then over the course of a month, you'll be able to start getting closer and closer to this position and not feel stressed doing that. Okay?
There you have it. Phase 1 complete on how to experience sciatic pain relief, or pain in the butt cheek relief. So thank you for making it to the very end. I hope you really appreciate the information I gave to you. And all I'm asking is for you to subscribe, hit the bell notification, give this video a like, and then come back again, because we're going to go over phase 2 after your 1 month of doing these exercises to help out with that pain relief. All right? So thanks a lot, and I'll see you again next time.